Wait, don't scroll yet. Because this story isn't about billionaires or fake love. It's about what happens when two broken people are asked to pretend, and end up finding something real. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, and if you feel this story in your heart, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because more stories like this are coming your way. It all started on a rainy Thursday evening. The city lights blurred behind the glass of a black limousine parked outside the Grand Sterling Hotel. Inside, CEO Amara Collins, 32, sat in silence, her reflection cold and perfect, just like everyone expected her to be. The queen of Collins Industries. Elegant, fierce, untouchable. But tonight, her hands trembled slightly as she scrolled through her messages. Her ex-fiancé was attending the charity gala inside, with his new wife. The same woman who had been Amara's best friend once. And now the media was waiting outside the hotel entrance, ready to capture her every reaction. Weakness was not an option. That's when her assistant knocked. "Ma'am, there's someone here asking for you. Says it's urgent." Annoyed, she opened the door, and froze. Standing there was Ethan Reed, 35, tall, broad-shouldered, his suit just slightly wrinkled, his hair damp from the rain. He looked completely out of place in her world of diamonds and polished marble floors. Yet there was something steady about him, calm, almost grounding. They had met only twice before. Ethan was a carpenter who had helped her company design an eco-friendly exhibit for a charity project. She remembered him because of the small girl who had been with him that day, his daughter, Lily, who had shyly offered Amara a wildflower and said, "You look lonely." Amara had laughed then, but right now, she felt exactly that. "What are you doing here?" she asked, trying to hide the shake in her voice. Ethan looked uncomfortable. "I came to return your bracelet. You dropped it the last time you visited the site." He held out the silver chain, water dripping from his fingers. Amara blinked, surprised. "You could have just mailed it." He smiled faintly. "Yeah, well, my daughter said I should give it back myself. Said you looked like you needed a friend." Amara almost laughed, but her phone buzzed again. Another message. Another reminder of the man inside who had once promised her forever. And then, an idea struck. Crazy. Ridiculous. But desperate times do that. "Ethan," she said slowly, meeting his eyes. "Can I ask you something completely insane?" He raised a brow. "Depends how insane. Just act like you're mine for tonight." The words left her mouth before she could second-guess them. Ethan stared, taken aback. "You mean, pretend we're together?" "Why?" "Because my ex is in there with his new wife, and I refuse to look broken. I just need someone real beside me. Someone who doesn't care about headlines or money." She looked away, embarrassed. "You don't have to say yes. Forget I." "Okay." Her head snapped up. "What?" He shrugged lightly. "I said okay. If it helps you, I'll play along. But only for tonight." And just like that, they walked in together. The ballroom fell silent when Amara entered, her hand resting on Ethan's arm. The photographers clicked. Her ex froze mid-conversation. Everyone's eyes were on them, whispering. Ethan didn't flinch. He smiled at her like she was the only person in the room. And somehow, for the first time in months, Amara felt seen. Not as a CEO, not as a scandal, but as a woman. The night went better than she expected. They danced, they laughed, and for those few hours, pretending didn't feel like pretending anymore. Ethan's calm, grounded presence softened the sharp edges of her world. But the truth hit when the music slowed. He stepped closer, voice low. "You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Amara." Her eyes burned. "You don't understand. I've built everything from nothing. People are waiting for me to fall." He touched her hand gently. Then don't fall. Just rest. For once. And in that crowded ballroom, she finally did. After the gala, they walked out into the rain. She offered to drive him home, but he shook his head. Lily's waiting. She smiled softly. She's lucky to have you. He chuckled. Nah. I'm lucky to have her. She reminds me what matters. For a long moment, Amara just stood there, watching him disappear into the mist. Something inside her shifted. Days passed. Then weeks. But she couldn't stop thinking about him, or the quiet strength he carried. So when she learned Lily's school was struggling to fund its art program, she made a decision. She arrived at the small, run-down school one afternoon, in heels far too fancy for the cracked pavement. Ethan was there, hammer in hand, fixing a broken shelf. He froze when he saw her. You again, he said, smiling. What brings the CEO of Collins Industries to a school like this? You helped me when I needed it, she said simply. Now I want to help you. Together, they started a community project, restoring the school's facilities, building classrooms, giving kids like Lily a better place to learn. Somewhere along the way, work turned into laughter, friendship into trust, and something unspoken began to bloom. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the trees, Lily ran up holding 2 paper hearts she'd cut out. This one's for Daddy, she said, handing one to Ethan. Then she held the other out to Amara shyly. And this one's for you, because you make Daddy smile again. Ethan looked away, his eyes glassy. Amara knelt, taking the heart with trembling hands. Thank you, sweetheart, she whispered. Later that night, as they locked up the classroom, Ethan turned to her. You know, that night you asked me to pretend. She laughed nervously. Don't remind me. It was embarrassing. He shook his head. It wasn't. Because somewhere between pretending and tonight, I stopped acting. Amara froze, heart racing. Ethan. He smiled softly. I don't have much to offer, but what I do have, it's real. Tears welled in her eyes. That's all I ever wanted. And when he took her hand, she realized the love she'd been searching for didn't come from power or perfection, it came from kindness, from honesty, from 2 broken souls choosing to heal together. Months later, during another charity gala, this time hosted in that very same school, Amara stood beside Ethan, not pretending, not hiding. Cameras flashed again, but she didn't care. Because this time, when the world looked at her, they didn't see a CEO faking a smile. They saw a woman who had finally found home. And maybe that's the message we all need tonight. Sometimes the love that saves you doesn't come with grand gestures, it comes quietly, in the rain, when someone looks at you and says, you don't have to act anymore. If this story touched your heart, drop a red heart in the comments, share it with someone who needs hope tonight, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories that remind us, love doesn't need to be perfect to be real.